Oh yeah, this is a very sexy movie.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
You were hesitant in the beginning to sign on with the project, and then once you became involved and you had to deal with that wave of criticism about your casting, I mean,
Yeah.
were you scared at that point that maybe this could be the wrong thing?
No, I wasn't scared about that. What generally works best for me is taking a risk, and that's a real good, healthy thing to do, I think. There were a few nights where I kind of thought I may have pushed it too far this time, but I knew I had Tim, and by that time Jack was in, so I really believed that I could only fall below X if the whole bottom fell out of this movie. And I work well with my back against the wall.
You like that kind of pressure?
Yeah, I like it. So little did they know that they were just feeding me, baby.
Hi, Bruce Wayne.
Are you sure?
Talk to me then, Tim, about the casting of Michael Keaton. I mean, he's not your quintessential superhero prototype.
Well, you know, the comic book is based, it's one of the few characters that's a human being. I just found it was a much more interesting way to go. I mean, you know, there's been a lot of talk about the size of somebody's jaw, but I mean, how often when you meet somebody do you sit there and just stare at his jaw the whole dinner, you know, or whatever, talking to him? You don't, you know, that's a very, I'd say 1% of the whole thing. With Michael, you just get so much more, and you know, all you have to do is look at him and you see him putting on a bat suit, and it makes a lot of sense as opposed to, you know, some big, strong, rich, handsome guy. I mean, I could never figure out why a guy like that would want to put on a bat suit.
Well, I mean, let's face it. You're not exactly normal.
Everybody, of course, has their way that they relate to the Batman character. For a lot of women, it's a sexual thing. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, this is a very sexy movie.
what's your take on that when you had the suit on?
It's a very sexy movie.
Well, Kim Basinger has said that when you had the cape and the mask and everything on, that it did something to her.
I think the whole look of this guy put in this atmosphere, you know, it's a sexy movie regardless. I really think. I mean, I'm not being humble here. I didn't design the suit, so I can't take any credit for it, except that it is an awesome thing.
My life is really complex.
Michael, were you at all, I don't know, maybe hurt is the right word. Did you feel like, why do I have to prove myself to this faction of Batman fans?
Well, fortunately, I wasn't aware that there was this faction of the DC Comics fundamentalists, as I call them. By the time I discovered that they had such a heavy lobby, we were in England working, so that was really fortunate for us because it was. Then I came back and then I got it about 9 minutes after I stepped off the plane. I noticed something was afoot, and by that time I was pretty fascinated by it, and I still am pretty amazed by it. I just don't quite get it. I mean, you know, what are we talking about here? I mean, it's a movie.
You said at one point that being a movie star would be pretty neat stuff, that you thought it would be okay. Now that you've crossed that barrier into becoming a movie star, and you've got some of the baggage that goes along with it, is it still neat?
What I find interesting is, from an objective point of view, is I think there are really good actors and I think there are really good movie stars, and then there's a group that cross over. But for my money, there aren't many who do both well, and I don't take one away from the other. You know what I mean? So I never went into it to become a movie star. And anybody who tells you it's not fun to have people say hi to you and say they think they're great are lying to you.
You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses on, would you? Huh?
And you get to share the screen with Jack Nicholson.
Oh man, you kidding me? It's great. It's just great. As good as it gets. But Tim, Kim, and Jack, that combination in a movie is potent.
I like him already.